Why is my engine way too low? Put that here.
Hello.
Setting up some software. Want to test the computer over there? Now that is some fine team.
Hey, you mind helping me weld up some of these panels? I miss coming up here. We should visit Vlad more often.
This scanning equipment needs to be installed. I could use your help.
That's
I
it.
think we are done.
Bunch of text box. That's your mission. Shit.
Just gonna do some more spot welding. Never be too careful.
Nice work! Didn't burn your hand off.
Lend a hand? Grab a couple of wrenches and let's tighten this equipment down.
Yeah, I just need to click on the wrench and then I'm done. There you go.
Well, I'm certain that wasn't supposed to happen. Check with Vladimir?
Oh, sore. One too many squats. You color the wrong wires.
I feel that one is
Station's showing
lazy.
red.
You could have done a little bit of animation, right? Not just like text.
Nastier than I measured. Figured a few of the parts might be iffy, but this is going to take more than a span.
Oh, I should have checked the compatibility when we made the order. I can stay with you until we get all this fixed.
No need for the martyr's clothes, but I'm happy to have the help. As for you, while we're giving the eye the swords, need to tip your ear on another matter when you got the time.
Oh, level up. That's what I need. Let's spend that on persuasion. No, I'm done with persuasion. I would say not that.
Don't want to worry anyone. Captain Petrov reached out through. Think we're gonna need a crowbar and bag for this one. Left the life of a Jacobons behind myself. I know what I'm asking. But I see a clutch prize not up for the prying any other way. Not sending you lone hook on the job. I want Andreja with you on this one. You two will be foot to foot the whole way. So make sure you're ready. Catch a smile out there.
Okay.
I have things I wish to discuss
Whoa, what happened?
with you when you have time. Never would I have imagined to encounter something like these Starborn. Now I feel that rather than having answers, we only have more questions. Yes, by any meaning of the word. Regardless of how impossible they may have seemed before now, I must say that I do not like being threatened by anyone. If so, what would that be? Clearly, these Starborn are connected to the artifacts, which would mean that they are also connected to that temple you found. Did they make these things? Have they appropriated them? This all implies there is something more, something we do not yet understand. You are right. And it would seem that if we do, we may well cross paths with these Starborn again. We will need to be on our guard from now on. They seem to know much about us. Perhaps we can learn more about them to make it even. Whether we learn more or not, I now have a difficult decision to make. I must decide whether to report this to House Barun. Yes, perhaps that is for the best. I would not wish to send them information now that turns out to be incorrect later. I do appreciate that I can trust you with this. It is good to have someone to talk to. You are too good to me, you know that? We should return to our search then. There's still so much to do.
Nice to see you.
Excuse me?
Any new orders for me?
You don't have business with this cow. Our captain is not taking visitors. No one uninvited boards this cow. Captain's orders. The captain does love flatterers. We could use the money. I don't know if you'll convince the captain, though. All right. I'll clear you to dock. Keep yourself out of trouble, or we'll have every hired gun in the cargo bay after you.
Here to shoot the breeze?
Who let you on board? Thought Petrov was done hiring mosquitoes. Or maybe you're after something from the captain's collection.
Oh yes, the Rock. He's not selling it. But if you want to hear him laugh in your face personally, go right ahead.
Well, now we all understand exactly why we are here.
Go on then. Petrov's got a...
Oh, not doing that.
Welcome to Petrov's Palace of Peculiarities, the pinnacle of perfect procurement, the penultimate panopticon of prosperity. Ha ha ha!
You know, a lot of the guards here are bounty hunters, smugglers, or salvagers from the fringes.
It's like uh, group of Boba Fett's, and he is Jabba the Hutt, right? Exactly, this is a reference, right?
Ah, I wasn't aware we had the visitors. Waddick, you didn't tell me we had visitors.
We have visitors.
Excellent. Now that you've gone to all this trouble to get here, you should make yourself at home. Relax. Kick up your feet on the tables. I don't care they have scorch marks on them anyway. The artifact? Ah, you must mean my latest curio. I have never seen anything like it. Intricate pattern details, a metal that feels soft to the touch, yet bears not one hint of wear or tear. Ah, you are out of luck, my new friend. I cannot part with it. I know, it's a fickle man who falls in love so easily, but what can I say? Mi amore. Tempting. I do love showing off. But my security team will have a heart attack. It would be against all those protocols that I admittedly told them to make. No, some things need to be just for me. Okay. I might be able to make an exception for you. Really? How flattering. Ah, very well. What's a quick look going to hurt, huh? I know. People look at me and say, Petrov, your whole ship is a testament of splendor. Why do you need a special vault? Well,
Talk to
all I can
Petrov.
say is that even the greatest collection needs its own private viewing area. Plus, between you and me, there are thieves everywhere. So I spared no expense. Every door between me and my treasures is paved. But that is the price of security, huh? Que sera? Just a bit further. This ship and I have been through some adventures, I'll tell you. I once collected salvage from a Deimos Celestial class while it was exploding. The crew was scraping scorch marks and bits of metal off the hull for weeks. And of course, there was the time I accidentally steered us into a UC Navy vessel after a particularly uproarious celebration of my latest acquisitions of fine art. But we were wedged perfectly between their two thrusters, and were able to just kind of push them back into the Star Yard for repairs. And now, the moment itself. Ah, beautiful, isn't it? The man who sold me this told me that it spoke to him. That holding it for the first time was like drowning in your own soul. Alas, I've held it several times, and my soul is still breathing, devoid of any such enlightenment. Oh no. No. I can't. This one is mine. And it's only fair to warn you. Hands off. I would hate to sour our new friendship by becoming the victim of piracy.
Let us deal with one moment at a time.
Then I suppose it's just a question whether my immeasurable love for my collection and my crew of hired cutthroats is enough to stop you. Go ahead. Make a move for the artifact. Let's see what happens.
You severely overestimate your chances, sir.
Oh shit.
Steal what is mine, and I will ensure that every security officer in the United Colonies knows you're nothing but a common... Wait! I surrender! I surrender! Don't kill me!
Given the events up until this point, I suggest you agree to the terms.
Done! Stand down, everyone! Let the nice pirate pass.
Haha.
Damn it, Petrov. I was just getting warmed up.
All it takes is a one freaking missile.
Damn pirate. Get what you came for and leave.
I'm out after this. Take what you came for and go.
Filthy pirate. We're not gonna forget this.
Whew. Always a satisfying moment to return to your ship.
Welcome to UC Space. Maintain your current course while we scan your ship's cargo. Be advised you have been identified as a known criminal. Respond immediately or we will be forced to open fire. You're on the wanted list. Halt and prepare to be boarded or we will be forced to open fire. Copy that. Stay on course while we escort you in.
Damn it. Ah, it's fine. Oh, my swimsuit! Shit. Yeah, I cannot fast travel after this one. Oh, it will go away once I leave the planet.
By the way, Cap. Vladimir! Vlad, come in! Come in! The eye's gone completely dark. I can't reach anyone on the station.
Oh shit.
Noel, Starborn, came out of nowhere.
Vladimir, get out of there!
He already left. Said he was going.
Oh no.
Sarah, she's still breathing, but oh God, all that blood. Hello, Constellation.
Oh, the hunter.
Who are you? What did you do to our friends?
They call me the Hunter. And now that I'm here, your part in glimpsing the Unity is over.
protection, move it somewhere they can't find it.
He is right. We leave the artifacts, the Starborn will have them.
What about everyone on the Eye? We can't leave them to die up there.
God, that is a tough choice.
That Starborn has already overwhelmed everyone on the Eye. We need to stay here.
I don't know how long it's gonna take to pack up the artifacts. I'll get started. Hopefully this will only take a few minutes, if my hands can stop shaking.
Shit.
Somewhere to take cover.
Where? Do you really expect them to barge through the front door?
Just be ready, Walter.
Could you all keep it down? I just need a little time.
I am on full alert.
Walter! Are you all right?
No.
Ignore them. Focus. Focus.
You keep so well covered.
The universe belongs to me.
Yeah.
I have all the artifacts.
Not with this weapon.
There's a notice in the Well District. Come on. Get to the ship!
Oh god. Run, run, run. Oh no, shit.
the others.
We have to risk it. They could be dying up there.
There's a greater purpose to all this. You might have a larger role than I realized. Mistake on my part. Keep collecting the artifacts. We'll meet again. Maybe you'll glimpse the unity yet.
Wow.
Hello.
No. Sarah, no.
Sarah! Sarah, we're here. We're here.
Yet.
You gave me a hope.
Yet.
Sarah, another chance. Don't leave me now. She's
No.
gone. We are undone. Constellation has lost a part of itself. We cannot change that.
So, for the one that will survive, probably the one that will survive is the one that you did the romance, right?
Dad, the others are.
Okay, I admit.
But he's alive.
My famous personality wasn't so much help with this one. I'll be fine. I just...
Even
I
Sam.
messed up on this one, friend. Usually the last guy to get outdrawn. Back at you. I don't think I'm gonna be moving around too much for a bit.
But Sarah's dead.
But I'll be
Shit. That was a shocker. Didn't expect that.
You're alive. Krix's ghost can keep waiting. No tears for the old. Got the others to worry about.
Vladimir! Oh, thank goodness!
Sarah's dead. Nope. She's a lost cause.
We... Uh, we need to talk locks and bolts. Lodge and the Eye are not secure. Just means he's playing the waiting man's game. He'll be back once we've done all the work of collecting the other pieces.
Hunter, he probably found us because we're somewhere obvious. High populated area, just like how the Starborn found you orbiting Neon the first time. But the fact that they're competing with us to find the artifacts means they can't get them without searching.
So we put the artifacts somewhere in the fringe, or on something that can slip from their grasp if they do another strike from the curtain. Fine idea. Starborn show up, you can burn helium in one spin of the grav drive to anywhere.
Here, keep the artifacts safe. I guess we'll meet back at the lodge after.
Okay.
No. We were all supposed to be okay.
Oh, Sarah. Actually, Sarah is some amazing teammate. You can now move the armillary. Starbound attacks are more likely wherever the armillary is placed. If you choose to keep it the artifacts in your inventory, then I will likely get more attacks.
Look who it is.
Hmm. Let's go. Let's go get some powers.
Hey there.
Is mining on the schedule today?
Witnessing a death has an overwhelming effect on your mental state. I am afraid there are no immediate solutions to employ.
Need something?
What can I do for you, boss?
It has been a while since I have felt this empty. The entire universe seems darker. So the Starborn lose. And so do we. So the Starborn lose.
Okay, he's also lost.
No indigenous life signs. One less thing to worry about, I suppose.
How did I miss that? More power!
I would like to have seen the construction of this place. The tools, the methods.
Good one.
Crazy.
Go!
For sake.
And once again, we are triumphant.
Oh fuck.
What's the
Keep
good word,
pressing
Chief?
E.
Hey, over here. Could you please spare a ship part? Our rookie here may have sideswiped an asteroid. Needs some repairs. I had a good feeling about you. We just need a little. 2 units of ship parts will do. Oh no.
Sorry.
This is United Colony Space. Maintain current course while we scan for contraband. Scan complete.
Oh shit. What happened here?
Attention. The spaceport has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all clear signal before exiting your homes. That is all.
constellation has suffered losses before, although not quite so violently.
The Lodge is still our home. We'll make it feel that way again.
Let's see. So we will be missed.
Everyone seems more distant in the lodge. If there's anything you need, I am happy to share.
Can you wear this? Yeah, I haven't upgraded my shit. See if we can grab something.
If I may, I know our encounter with the Hunter is the last thing anyone wants to talk about right now, but he said something that I can't get out of my mind. Unity. Do you remember that? Because he was stopping us, implying that we were getting closer to it. The thing is, I've heard that word before. It's an important concept in Keeper Aquilas's speeches.
The priest? Is the Sanctum Universum going to bless our little crusade of discovery?
It can't be a coincidence. The Sanctum has always believed that answers are out there in the stars. Look, I know it's the longest of shots and the biggest leap of faith I could ever ask us all to take, but why not talk to him?
and it would seem there is nothing to lose in doing so.
Thank you. I know it's not much to go on, but something about this feels right. I'll meet you over there.
We can pay to fix the damages. Some things are irreplaceable.
There's that empty feeling again. Whenever someone's gone, there's like a hole in the lodge where there used to be. Hey, let's not stick around the lodge too long. We should get out there. Wouldn't mind burning some helium out in the fringe instead of being here, you know? Wouldn't mind burning some helium out in the fringe instead of being here, you know? Hey, let's not stick around the lodge too long. We should get out there. There's that empty feeling again. Whenever someone's gone, there's like a hole in the lodge where there used to be. There's that empty feeling
Dad?
again. Whenever
Will
someone's
you
gone,
read to
there's
me tonight
like a
before
hole
bed?
in the lodge where there used to be.
Read to you, sure. I'd like that very much. You haven't asked me to do that in a long time.
And will you do funny voices for the characters? Like you used to when I was little?
You just try and stop me.
Okay,
Thank you
sex.
for helping me out with the artifacts.
Wouldn't mind burning some helium out in the fringe instead of being here.
I have been thinking about us as a couple? I am not sure of the terminology. Our relationship, let us say.
Okay. It's called space.
It is. And I am thankful for you every day. You and I, we come from such different backgrounds. I cannot really know all that you have been through, and you
Oh
are
no.
not House Baroon.
You know how you lose things. I still don't know how you lost that picture of Nibbles the comet-eating bunny.
I am not suggesting otherwise.
Yeah.
This does not
What?
work if I am not honest, if I will not speak plainly what is on my mind. As much as I love you, and I do,
Breaking my
can't
heart,
help but
Andrea.
wonder what the future holds for us, given all that I know to be true. No, that is not my concern. I trust that you will stay with me. When the Great Serpent returns, I know I will be by his side as one of the promised. But you are not like me. You are not House Baroon. Your fate, as much as it pains me, is sealed. I have tried to not worry myself over it, but I cannot stop thinking about it. What future can we have if that is the inevitable end? You understand, this is different. It is not what might happen, but what will happen. I have never expected you to share my beliefs. You cannot possibly. And I will not fault you for that. I do want to be with you, but there are moments I find myself grieving for you already, knowing that you will be lost. How can I possibly move past this? It would be foolish to do anything else, I suppose. You are so good at putting things into perspective. I just hate to think of anything coming between us, whether now or in the future. But you are right. I need to focus on what is in front of me now. Not something I have no control over. Thank you for talking me through this. It only serves to remind me how much you mean to me.
You almost dumped me, huh?
Really? You continue to surprise and amaze me. I am at a loss for words. Of course, yes. Yes, I want that too. My culture deals with this so differently than I have seen in the rest of the settled systems. I need some time to consider what would be an appropriate, equivalent gesture. But do not mistake that for hesitation. You are the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I will not let you go for a moment.
Okay. You almost dumped me.
The lodge has been measurably
Talk to Keeper
reduced.
Oculus. Unity.
Keeper Aquilus, can we have a moment?
Oh, Mateo. It's been too long. How are your parents? Your mother still struggling with that azalea garden?
No, she figured that out a while ago. Had to adjust the pH levels in the soil. But, Keeper, I didn't come to catch up.
Oh. Well, what's on both your minds? Oh. Yeah. How humanity comes together. How we are to love each other even as our universe becomes even more complex.
That's not exactly what we mean. Keeper, when you talk about unity, well, does it mean anything else? Something secret?
Perhaps we should talk about this inside. Now that we have a little privacy, why don't you tell me exactly what it is that brought you two here?
They're like nothing we've ever seen, Keeper. Gravitational distortion, sub-audio harmonic sequencing, unidentifiable energy fluctuations.
I caught half of that. So, these things are unusual? Even in your experience? There have always been mysteries that seem to defy our understanding of the universe, beyond rational thought. We enter life as an act of someone else's faith in us. There's no way of knowing who we will become, and yet the risk is made anyway. So you've pushed into the unknown, not knowing where it would take you. And it's brought you here. I think I can. If you're willing to find your way in the dark for a bit longer, I can give you a path of discovering its meaning. There's an old story, far older than the Sanctum Universum, of someone who walked the settled systems and saw every corner of it. This pilgrim claimed he found the true meaning of unity. I always thought of it as just a parable for trying to bring humanity together, but maybe it's more. In my story, the pilgrim met the founders of the House of Enlightenment and the enigmatic cult of the Varun, and he gave them each a part of the truth. Then he goes to his final resting place to live out the rest of his days in contemplation of infinitum addendum, his addition or contribution to the infinite. But what if the story isn't a metaphor, but a code? A way of finding the pilgrim again, or at least his grave. Yes, something must be there. I just can't put my finger on it. Maybe the answer will become clear when we have more. The House of Enlightenment and Varun have versions of this story. The Enlightened work out of the well here in New Atlantis, helping the poorest citizens find a better life for themselves. Varun worshippers are more enigmatic, but there is a lone zealot that was captured recently for attacking UC ships. I visited her a couple of times. Hopefully she'll be willing to talk to you as well.
I'll stay here with the Keeper. We need to catch up. And I wouldn't mind asking him a few more questions.
Yeah. We're going out.
By the way, Captain, Sergeant
Let's go first with the Varun.
If you have the time, I wish to speak to you.
Again?
And just what is on your mind at this moment? I need you to know how much it means that you came for me. There is no way to properly thank you or to repay you for what you have done. I quite literally owe you my life. As am I. As grateful as I am, it is hard to feel that my life does not come at too great a cost. No, there is not. I know. We all know. Sarah's loss is a huge blow to Constellation. And to each of us personally. But it could have been so much worse if you had not acted. No, That is not true. All we have done is search for knowledge, for answers. They put themselves between us and those answers. But we will not let them stop us. We will press on. We will continue our search, and we will learn what these Starborn are trying to keep from us. Now we truly know the stakes are too high to do anything else.
You don't need to wear your helmet on this planet. You know that.
Welcome to the House of Enlightenment. If it's about the financial or food assistance programs, we are backlogged. Don't worry, we're doing everything we can. Oh, we're not. Sorry. Can I help you?
We understand that you are busy, but this might be important. Anything you could tell us would be helpful.
Listen, I've talked about this with him a ton of times, and there's no record of a Unity pilgrim. But since you both insist, our early records are mostly administrative. Humanitarian projects, group counseling notes, charity expenditures. But there is a series of exchanges the founding members recorded in a lot of detail. It's the closest thing I have to what Aquilus is describing. A man walks into the first House of Enlightenment. The founding members just call him the Drifter. So they think he's a charity case at first, but no, the Drifter asks them a bunch of questions. If your philosophy is built on an individual's own morality, what about the second person? That second person might disagree. Isn't the problem of two what you're really looking for? And the founders respond, each individual must understand how the second person lifts them up. All of human effort is a story of cooperation pushing us forward. And it kind of goes on like that. He comes back every week for a year. Same conversation every time. Second person this, the problem of do that. Honestly, I think the founding members made it all up. There was a little more hesitation being openly atheist in the early days. I think they were experimenting with writing their own scripture. Fortunately, that got abandoned pretty quick. After the records of the Drifter end, you never see anything like it again. Always happy to help. If you'll excuse me, I've got a lot of aid efforts to coordinate.
I wonder if I'll miss New Atlantis when Tony and I leave.
I am thankful these rides are quick. I do not like being in small, enclosed spaces with people who do not know.
Not sure if those Varun zealots live in space or got separated from their home planet or what, but they scavenge what they need. Lots of old facilities left over from the colony wars. They like to pick 'em clean.
A visitor? I have all the company I need. He knows not the truth. He sends another to ask more incessant questions.
Few are willing to accept the truth, but at least he has reached out to you.
The Great Serpent waits in the shadows. He will entwine the universe, and all but the faithful will be made as dust. That is the truth. No more, no less.
If the Keeper has been to see you, perhaps he has mentioned it?
Yes, I have spoken to your Keeper about this. I will tell you what I told him, and then you will leave me. Jinan Varun meets the unbeliever. He gives false prophecy to Jinan. But such is Jinan's conviction in the Great Serpent, he does not hesitate. He cuts the unbeliever down. But the unbeliever returns. Jinan realizes the Great Serpent is testing him, and he will not be found wanting. 4 times they fight. Over 120 rotations of the planet they are on. Remember these 4 battles, Jinan, the unbeliever says. Remember these 120 rotations. But Jinan knows this is blasphemy, and delivers the killing blow. That is all. Then we are done. Leave me.
The Embassy District is a controversial place.
Aquilus has helped me through some tough.
Well, you're back. What did you learn? Was there something hidden in their stories, like we thought? Planets are often named by number. That second might mean the second planet in the system. What else did you learn? If there really is a location the Pilgrim wanted us to find, those do sound awfully like coordinates. Was there anything else? Yes. What he added to infinity. Maybe that points to a name. If we're looking for his resting place, we'd need to know the name of the star system, wouldn't we? Let's see. We have something that could be coordinates. Something that could point to a planet in the system. But what's the name of the system? Infinitum addendum. What if we break down the parts? No systems named finite or add. That just leaves in and dumb. Well, that's certainly how I feel. Yes, that's it. The second planet in Indum. At 4 and 120. That's where you'll find the Pilgrim's resting place. And from there, maybe you'll find the true meaning of unity. Before you go, you've now spoken to many different perspectives in our universe. In a way, you'll be carrying their philosophies with you on this journey. I know you're looking for a specific unity, but if you had to guess what it was, what interpretation would you give it? Ah, but what makes something like that holy? Gravity is also a force that brings things together. Should that be sanctified? It is one of the great contradictions of belief. We feel the presence of something out there, but we insist that it is also everywhere. So you think this word unity describes that divine unknowableness that the pilgrim searched for?
Could it be that somehow natural forces like gravity are, a side effect or a function of something greater at work? Interesting.
Well, I won't keep you any longer. This has been fun, I have to admit. Go, find your truth.
Find the truth. Let's see. Go back to our ship. And let's find that location. In Dune, right? In Dune, Indum. Indum. Fuck, I forgot.
Any adventure you can fly away from.
I'm still upset about Sarah's death.
Hey, Captain.
Where's Barrett?
Yeah, boss? Just here for a chat?
Where is Barrett?
Glad to see you're back in one piece. Hey, Captain. I'll watch your six.
It is pleasing to speak with you.
This environment seems hospitable enough to support life.
Good to see you. I have some room in my...
I need to research more. I think that's enough. I'm just gonna brute force. Fuck! Yes! Finally.
I have something for you, Captain.
Hey, you might want this. Ship's good. Let's go. Pumping retros. Orbit achieved. Stabilizing. Done.
Civilian transport to unknown vessel. Please acknowledge. This is a commercial passenger transport liner wanting to alert you about hostiles in the system. It's our company's policy. Us friendlies have got to watch each other's backs out here. Safe travels, stranger.
You need to move.
That's it now. You're handling this whole captain thing really well, you know. Sure, I've got a minute. Finally.
Welcome back.
Eager to help, if I can.
Yeah, but can you move?
You need something?
Hey, you need something?
Any new orders for me? Need me to lend a hand?
Ben would have loved to work on a planet with this kind of life. Sorry, I was lost in the... Of course.
You need an ammo for that.
Of course.
You can equip that.
Those are Starborn ruins. You see that, right? We have to get a close-up of that statue. Wow.
Uh, why is not working?
Need something? Sure.
This is a broken quest. Don't tell me this one is also broken. Because if this one is broken, I cannot continue. It's not working though. Or is some sort of a puzzle that I don't fucking understand again? Shit. Or fucking got it. Get it now. Let's do first person. After that one.
Hey.
Now, there are times like I don't wanna understand the puzzle or take more time. Especially this one. Because it doesn't really like explain properly how to solve it. You just here's the thing. I'm not sure how to. You gotta press it. There's like an arrow pad in that one.
And we are now in stable orbit. Our tiny tin can of fragile humans has survived being hurled through space once more.
Oh, is this a trap or what?
I can speak for myself. Constellation ship, you weren't invited to this meeting, but much of our conversation has been about you. It's only fitting you should join us. I will personally guarantee your safety as long as you come in peace.
And think of it as a ceasefire meeting. Your one shot at getting those answers you must desperately want. Good. See? We can all get along. For now.
Is this a trap or what? I'm gonna steal that ship.
Ship is now docked. Perfect. Didn't even smudge the paint.
Hi, Skipper. What do you need?
Move out on the door. Why these NPCs always on the door?
Hello.
Looks like a character from Destiny 2.
You remember the emissary, perhaps? And their ship, the Helix? I believe they ambushed you above Neon and demanded that artifact you worked so hard to gain.
Thank you for the stellar introduction. Your success is unprecedented. Before you came, we were just discussing how continued use of force against you is unwise.
I don't think your patient counselor act is working on them.
We are not a monolithic people. The Starborn are individuals. Some are united in cause. Others are in it for themselves.
We're all in it for ourselves. Some of us are just more honest. The emissary threatened your ship, demanded you hand over your artifact. How is that so different from what I did?
We needed to warn you off. Every encounter with one of our kind could spell disaster.
For whom, exactly? I say whoever can collect them should. And who gets to say that? You? Me? The emissary? I have debated morality for near infinity, and all I have found are groups of people enforcing their will on others. Rules and laws spoken as principles, but backed by arms and violence.
Enough. We have more to discuss. The Unity. You are on the path to it. It is a place, a gateway. It is where we were reborn.
You've really come a long way since the Welcome to Constellation speech, haven't you? I'm not who you think I am. This universe is only the first one you've been to. I've seen hundreds. Where I came from, I was the one who stayed at the lodge to protect the artifacts. You died on board the Eye while we held off the Hunter.
One of me, at least.
I collected the remaining artifacts, and they opened the way to the center of my universe, and the doorway to an infinite number of others. That is the Unity. When I stepped into it, I became a Starborn. It's how I've entered other worlds, including yours. And that's the problem. All the artifacts are needed to complete the armillary and open the way to the Unity. In every universe, the Starborn fight over them. Innocent people die. You've witnessed the power granted by the temples, the anarchy that can be unleashed. Someone has to decide who should get them.
Here it comes. The emissary tells you only the worthy should enter heaven.
You're twisting what I mean.
They're hypocrites. They use the chaos caused by the hunt for the artifacts to establish an order where they decide who's worthy. I attacked your launch because I wanted the artifacts, and you held me off. You got away. That wasn't some morality play. You didn't survive because of righteousness. You won because of persistence, luck, and skill. As I have done countless times.
I was also human once. But what does it matter who or what I was when eternity is within your grasp? Oh, say what you really mean. That if what you're seeing is true, that means anyone can act the way I do. See things how I see things. You say I can't be the same man as Aquilus. You're really just talking about yourself. The real monster lives within us all, doesn't it?
You've never come this far. Not in all the universes I've seen. The path to the Unity is opening to you.
You're going to tip the scales one way or another. Better your hand be on one of our sides. Don't you understand what we're talking about? There's an infinite number of your friend out there in the multiverse. One is right over there.
No.
Besides, why fight me again when you don't have to?
I want a truce between all three of us. Give you some time to think over which approach to the Unity is the one you want. Mine, or the Hunters.
Yes. Let's see how willing you are to live under someone else's rules. Just remember, one of us isn't trying to judge you.
Nope, I'm not talking to you.
Before you leave, I want to give you something. A way to another artifact, but also a lesson in how dangerous they can be. Seek the moon of Old Earth. There are secrets there you must discover for yourself. Here, to open the way. That is all I ask. I hope you see what I have seen. You should also talk to your colleagues in Constellation. I am sure they have gathered more information on the remaining artifacts in the fringes of space. Part of me wonders what they will all say about what you have learned. But I will leave that to you.
Let's see, what mission I could take? Oh, so this might be the last one? I'm not sure. On Earth, go to Nova Research Station. Now let's talk to Vladimir. Could be the last one. Not sure.
Ships no longer docked. They're free. hard to underscore the impressive architecture of New Atlantis, right? I've been here hundreds of times, and it never ceases. Home sweet home. Or bittersweet home, I suppose.
Hey, I've been talking with the others, and I'd like to get everyone together. To say goodbye.
What?
You know,
Oh,
to Sarah.
thought you're leaving.
Thank you. It wouldn't be the same without you there. I'll have everything set up in a few days.
Mateo told us about your pilgrim's voyage.
You found it, didn't you? The meaning of unity. Wait, say that again? Multiple universes?
You can't possibly mean what I think you mean.
Hate to be the responsible one, but the big bombshell of what we're actually building here might need another second to sink in. Want to go over this whole multiple universe thing for everyone?
Yes, I wouldn't mind a little more detail.
Explains why the Starborn want the artifact so bad. Get them all, and you've got a gateway to infinity.
I don't even want to think about the physiological changes you'd need to travel between universes.
Plus what it would do to the mind? Enlightenment? Or oblivion? Like the Hunter.
You have the opportunity to reach the closest thing to your god that might exist. And you're second-guessing it?
One doesn't approach the afterlife without some trepidation. You're right. We have to see the unity for ourselves.
You know it. Now, once everyone's head stops spinning from all of this, we can get back to work.
Not to make a sharp turn in a grand tale, but I got the eye fixed up. Bruised, but still blinking. Let me know when you're ready to follow up on what it's seen.
Uh,
These last glimpses from the time in Holmes' cradles.
Oh,
Still got the left?
my mind was...
Catch a smile out there.
okay, got that. Let's go with this one. And then probably end the stream with on a sad note with Sarah's funeral.
As much fun as that was, it's good to be back. This never gets old. Lift off.
Stable orbit achieved. We can stay here forever. Well, for a while anyway.
I love the feeling after a
Liftoff
Oh
initiated,
shit!
Captain.
I didn't press spacebar.
Venture into that view of the skeptics. Recalculating. And orbit clear. Initiating flight sequence.
Everybody evacuated fast.
Engine spin-up time almost complete. Total time 5 minutes 22 seconds. Right on schedule.
How are the helium-3 valves holding, Nova?
We double-checked the leakage concerns this morning before the launch. All signs green.
Any changes to the calculation sequence from Voltaire?
No changes since we uploaded the last figures yesterday. It's a clean shot from here to Jupiter.
One day the computer will be on board the spaceship.
There's that little
Just
sad
imagine
dot.
that.
One miracle of science at a time, Canaveral. Counting down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Canaveral, are you reading?
All clear, Nova. Indicators look good. The ship should be cruising Jupiter's orbit right now. Visual confirmation will be possible in 32 minutes. Afraid the speed of light is on the slow side these days.
How does it feel to break the laws of physics, Canaveral?
We're all pretty excited down here in NASA, I won't lie.
Excited enough to tell me where
So
you
this
got
is
the
an
original
old
data?
recording.
Not in a million years, Nova.
The NASA.
back in the lap of luxury
To
right
infinity and beyond. Is that a ship? I think I saw a ship.
There. Stable orbit achieved. Like a toy sailboat released and
I think I saw a ship. Yeah, there is a ship. Oh, oh, oh. Might be able to steal this one. I think this is the opportunity. Oh shit, I'm at police this one. Sorry, Barrett. Shit! But you can steal those.
I have something for you. Ship's ready. Kitty style. Orbital pattern locked. Easy.
Going to the Earth. Yeah, I do have a mission here. The London Mark.
Landing gear is ready. Site is clear.
Bet that elevator
Ooh, that's a painful crash. Shit, that's a painful crash. I didn't save. Oh god, that's painful. Well, at least put me on Earth. Oh man, this running thing again. I might not be able to do the funeral. It keeps lagging. I need to save. Nah, nothing's near. This might not be the right one.
Really looks like this one almost made it to launch. Wonder what the final problems were. Now is
Oh no, did I forget? Forgot to bring a power cell. Shit. Come on! You really need to get down again? Oh, there you go. I'm taking that one. Just to be sure.
I know now isn't the best time, but I need to talk with you later. Do you need something? This is amazing! The unity, the multiverse, this is everything and more, literally. No kidding. Think of the dissertations. Boundless topics, no bounds. Except the books, they're bound. This explains so much, though. They're disorganized, petty, weird, and also deeply fascinating at the same time. Because they are just people. We never rule that out, but it feels so good to know we weren't fighting against robot alien ghost gods or something. True. We need to approach this critically and carefully. We can't just jump in. Or, I mean, we could, I guess. But it all comes back to this. We don't know what will happen if you enter the Unity. You might lose yourself or become a two-headed space shark. There are too many variables. What? No. I just have to go back and forth about it for a while first, and then I'll be completely fine. Just part of my process. Of course, at the end of the day, it's your choice. But I will say this. Our entire purpose in Constellation is to explore. Why would we stop now? I'm with you. I'm not gonna hold you back. But if you know, become evil or whatever, I'm also not gonna have your back. Anytime. The possibility of turning evil aside, I appreciate you taking the lead on this. You're guiding Constellation to new frontiers, new discoveries, and we should all follow your example. On that note, there's something else I'd like to discuss with you, if you have time. It's not on the scale of entering the Unity, but it is tangentially related. Thanks. This has been swirling in my brain goo for a while now. So, I've been pondering over what's happened and what it all means. And I've got a favor to ask. A teensy-weensy favor. About the size of a plank length, really. I think it's time I joined you in the physics-bending powers business. See if one of those temples works for more than just you. Marvelous. I'm glad you're as gung-ho about this as I am. As it so happens, I've already talked to Vladimir. Seems our eye in the sky is back up and running. He's sent me the coordinates for the temple already. We just have to visit. I know now isn't the best time, but I need to talk with you later.
Alright. We need to get Barret powers so he can be a useful ally to us.
I know now isn't the best time, but I need to talk with you later.
Yeah, shut up, I know. We already talked.
Station log. Dr. Judith Tatienne. The recent delivery from Mars is unsettling. Station log. Dr. Judith Tatienne. Station log. Dr. Judith Tatienne. I have never been so nervous since I defended my dissertation. 4 hours talking to Victor and his team about theoretical metals, atomic bonding, even a half-hour divergence into magnetism that I'm pretty sure was to throw me off the trail of what we were actually talking about. Then I got to see the lab. I don't know how much I should say, but the periodic table just got thrown out the window.
They had a museum, but this whole place is a museum now. Anyway, looks like an exit at the end of the hall.
I just don't understand where these calculations came from.
There's something wrong with the math? I think it's quite straightforward.
That's not what I'm asking. We've had no success extracting even a sample of material from the object. No explanation for the gravitational effects. No motion graph to explain its harmonic frequencies. I can't even establish a melting point.
Judith.
But you've had me building these prototype colliders for months.
Rooms like this across the globe.
Based on this equation
Scientists
written on a
figured out
goddamn
how to
napkin?
save our species.
I just need you to trust me.
I have been trusting you. We keep slamming our heads against a brick wall, getting nothing. And you keep coming up with something new to try. Like, you know what's going to happen. Where are you getting your information, Victor?
I'm sorry, Judith. Look, not here, okay? Somewhere off base. I'll tell you everything. But I'm not lying,
Final
okay?
days of humanity on Earth must have been a
We're
special
going
sort
to
of hell for
discover
hopeful
something
scientists.
important here. I promise.
Hey, stranger. Let's chat sometime, okay?
Oh, can go there. Shit, only one lock left. Whatever, let's open it.
Always a pleasure watching you work. Hey, Captain.
Oh, fuck you. Oh, thank God. At least you're giving me one as a replacement. They make a boo boo. Why do I need a handgun? Oh, thank you. She gave me one. And another one. Oh no. Shit. Oh, fuck. Am I? Don't be glitch.
Gone. I hate it when this happens.
Shoot them. Shoot them. You have the grenade launcher.
Damage registered.
That's all, huh? All yours. Hey, when you're not... Oh, yeah? Clear my schedule.
Shoot them.
Hey, when you're not busy, let's chat. What's on your mind? I've been thinking a lot about my early days in Constellation lately. Got me pretty nostalgic, and I started digging in some old things. Just sort of reminiscing. I found some of Irvin's last messages to me and thought I'd listen to them again to hear his voice. It was surreal, honestly. So, most of the messages were everyday things. Lots of excitedly written news about biodiversity and plant life. But one thing stood out. In one of his messages, he mentioned this job that he took at a mine shortly before he died. He said something terrible was happening there. But the message was garbled after that. Precisely. And as a tech person, you also know that style of encryption was prone to error and rarely used outside of academia. Well, Vasco helped me decipher it. Turns out the message was from Irvin, and he was begging me to help him. The message was short, but his voice was pained. He was so upset. I know this is probably long done, but I heard his voice. I can't just not look into it. So in this message, Irvin said he was being framed. He said they'll do it again. He asked if Constellation could send more help. It is, but I was thinking about it and, well, it's still wrong, right? So I figured, hey, I can do some sort of a remote investigation here. See what I can find out. There's gotta be a paper trail, right? Now, I happen to have a trustworthy contact who knows a bit about law and owes me a favor. I'd need to pay in advance in case there are any access fees or bribes. That works. I'll tell them to go ahead with the investigation. You know, hearing Irvin's voice again made me want to help him, even though I know I can't. Does that make any sense? I appreciate that. It's going to be hard to get some sleep tonight after all this. But the fact that I'm doing something about it might be enough to help. Hopefully poking around in old records doesn't catch the attention of Hephaestus. Well, anyway, I'll let you know if my contact finds anything. Hey, when you're not busy, let's chat.
What?
Never mind. Sorry. Thinking of some... Let me carry that.
Oh, power required. So here goes fucking where? Shit, mess up. Set up. Fuck.
May as well, right?
How can we power this one? So here goes. No way, it's not on the other side. Shit. And I don't have a digipick. Is there a digipick here? I don't wanna reload. Actually, I don't wanna reload because it's gonna be a long one. I need to save. God, what the fuck is this game? Why? Why are you doing this? What if you're really out of digipick? How can you solve that? Here we go again.
Dusty. Dusty. Let's talk. Oh, this is going to be fast.
Get over with this one. Already made a mistake. Well, I did save, so I'm happy. If the save works, sometimes it doesn't work.
find out why this was... Talk. When you have time, of course. Imagine if they hadn't been able to convince people to invest this much. I wonder if humanity would still be here.
Project Log.
Project Log. Dr. Judith Tatien. I watched the gravjet tests from the moon today. It was the first time we were able to talk to the team at Nova Galactic directly. So many things were under wraps before, but now everyone wants all the publicity they can get. I'm already seeing proposals for manufacturing androids of drives, expeditions to Alpha Centauri and beyond. It's also overwhelming and worrying. It could take years, decades, before we know what all these side effects of operating a grav drive can be. But no one wants to hear that right now. Like a bunch of pioneers racing towards the edge of the frontier without knowing about the grizzly bears in the mountains.
Everything locked in this place?
I never actually got to visit your labs back when we were working on the grav drive projects. Seems like ancient history now.
I know what I'm seeing, Victor.
My name is Dr. Victor Isa. And if you're listening to this, then you probably already know the truth. I was young when I first headed the retrieval team of an odd gravitational anomaly on Mars. But I kept what really happened that day hidden from everyone except one other person. Even she didn't believe me at first. But I have no reason to lie to anyone now, so I hope you'll accept this confession, whoever you are. When I touched the anomaly, I experienced 12 days of lost time. I met myself. He told me everything that has since come true. The grav drive equations, the tests on the moon, Earth's atmosphere sputtering away because of what we had done. But he also told me about a city thriving on a planet orbiting a distant star. Human culture, art, music, lifestyles of all nations shining brightly across all of space.
We need to discuss what you found.
And it looks like other Starborn got here before us. So, you might have company.
Might be in a fight. But I think that's gonna be the end of the stream. We'll continue it later and we'll play more. So I guess ciao for now and see you on the next stream.